people are probably already asking, what is the Forever Agent? And we will get into it. And this is going to be a bit of an anthology. Each one of these points could be a 2-hour podcast in and of itself. We decided to come up with a podcast exclusively for the Forever Agent concept. I want to dive into this. Welcome back to the Forever Agent Podcast, episode number 2. My guest once again is the esteemed Alan Dalton. And the topic today is defining the Forever Agent. After the last few segments we've dropped, I've had numerous people say, hey, what is exactly the Forever Agent? What does that mean? Are they still real estate agents? Are they realtors? Is it an NAR thing? So we've taken the time to come up with 33 Forever Agent proclamations. And we love the term proclamations because that's what these are. And by definition, a proclamation is a public or official announcement, especially one dealing with a matter of great importance. And this stuff is important for the brand and for the agents who want to succeed at the highest level this business offers. But proclamations arise from disputations. We have to be disputing something. And today we're going to dispute the status quo in the industry, how traditional real estate agents think, how they behave, how they're coached, how they're trained, because that's how progress is made. You have to challenge some things or else nothing will change. So we're going to dive into this and juxtapose what a forever agent is versus what just a traditional real estate agent would do. There's going to be some duality. There's going to be a dichotomy. And we think you'll really have a full understanding of what the forever agent movement is after this podcast. Before we jump in, Alan, please give us your thoughts before we hit the 33.
Well, first of all, Andrew, you got to be careful using a word like dichotomy because years ago, I wrote that in something into my company, and one of my agents came up to me and said, Mr. Dalton, what's a dichotomy? But anyway, getting right to the point here, I want to point out to our audience, Andrew, something of, I think, great significance. I think you and your team this year have already surpassed, your small team, relatively speaking, have surpassed $150 million of production, and we're just a little bit over 6 months throughout the year. So the fact that you would take your professional and personal time to devote so much to this movement, I know I can speak on behalf of Gino Blafari, our chairman, Christy Budnick, our CEO, and the entire network, and thanking you for your immense contributions. Now I'd like to add a little context to these 33 proclamations. Gino Blafari was the person, you would say, the progenitor of the Forever brand. And then when our transformational CEO, Christy Budnick, came on the scene, if you will, Christy made it a top priority to really advance the concept of a Forever Agent. That's been a very passionate crusade of Christy's. And so therefore, Christy empowered Wendy Durand, our Senior Vice President of Global Marketing and Communication, to conduct a survey of the network to try to determine what they believed it meant to be a Forever Agent. And while almost to a person, people endorsed the idea, loved how it sounded, most said, I really don't know precisely what it means.
Right.
I don't know how to employ it at the point of contact with buyers or sellers or on social media or through my marketing, my prospecting. So because of that, because of Wendy's research, Christy then asked Wendy, Bob Watson, and myself to basically particularize what it meant to be a Forever Agent in order to popularize it. And so with that, and since that time, and over the last several months, we've created the Forever Agent Pledge. You've got the pledge sticker there.
Always wear it.
You got it. Because of George Pazio up in Boston, we've created the Forever Agent marketing platform. Because of Wendy Durand, we have all of the marketing assets involved now. Bob Watson and his global network team are introducing the Forever Agent coaching program.
Can't wait.
And then you and I are going through this process of trying to even be more forensic in terms of determining what it really means and what behavioral shifts might be called for. Now, you use two great words. Proclamation is your word that you're introducing here, and also disputations, to dispute, because if there wasn't things to dispute, there wouldn't be a loyalty gap, everyone would have an ecosystem. We wouldn't be concerned about disruption. We wouldn't be concerned about value diminution. And it reminds me of the Magna Carta, going back to 1215. The Magna Carta came out with a term called exemplifications. So therefore, I think that to really do justice to the forever agent and do justice to the forever agents in the network, we not only have to go through a process of disputing the status quo, we not only have to get to the point of proclamations, but we have to also define what it exemplifies, exemplifications. And the Magna Carta has been around for over 800 years now. But even today, speaking about forever, it's why we have trial by jury. It's why we have a speedy trial. It's why we have the notion of no one's above the law. In fact, it also led to the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, because we're a global network, and the Magna Carta transcended the way the entire world approaches human rights. So I, too, even though it won't be of that order of magnitude, I am a big believer in the process: disputation, exemplification, and then proclamation.
Well, what an intro. And I want you guys, as you're going through these 33 things, if you're an agent, ask yourself, am I behaving like a real estate agent, or am I behaving like a forever agent? If you ask yourself that throughout these 33 things, I know if you just sink your teeth into 5 of these, your business is going to be 10 times better. And that's not hyperbole. And as a contrarian myself, we want to be challenged on this stuff. So if you think there's things we should add, drop them in the comments, send us an email. Wherever you're seeing this content, we want you to dispute us so we can all get better together, because that's how progress is made. I'm jumping into number 1.
Amen.
All right, here we go. Real estate agents have past clients. We've all heard that. Forever agents create forever clients.
Well, the concept of past clients undermines the entire essence of what it means to be a forever agent. They collide. How can one logically have past clients or use that term and at the same time see themselves as a forever agent? Because forever agents have forever clients. And for the rest of the industry, real estate agents will always have past clients. Right. Forever agents will always have forever clients. And every single one of these 33 proclamations, and I can't think of a better project for me as Senior Vice President of Research and Development to throw my research and development abilities into than this subject. But all of these concepts, all of these proclamations will be part of Bob Watson and the Global Network Training Team's Forever Agent Coaching Program to get much more into detail. But that's a great start for proclamation number 1.
Do you want to have past clients, or do you want to have forever clients? Saying the word past client means you're their past agent. Doctors don't say it. Lawyers don't say it. For some reason, we're the only industry on the planet who proudly says, these are my past clients. I'm having a past client event. Well, you know what we have here at the Sure Group in Maryland? We have forever client events.
I love it.
That's 1. 2, real estate agents think their job is to treat their business like a business. Have you ever heard that? Every coach in the history of time has said, treat your business like a business. That's what real estate agents do. Forever agents are dedicated to building a professional practice, not just a business.
I'm glad you're disputing that revered saying, because I've seen innumerable coaches get up there as if they just came with a proclamation from Mount Olympus, telling agents, you've got to treat your business like a business, as if that's a revolutionary thought. That's common sense. And that's the way the industry has rolled for decades now. But the reason why doctors, lawyers, financial planners, when they plan to retire, they can, most of them, sell their practice because they have developed a professional practice. See, businesses largely develop customers, practices develop clients. And this isn't just semantics. That's a great number 2 proclamation, Andrew.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when they say, treat your business like a business. I said, oh, I thought I was treating it like a volunteer. Exactly. I thought I was treating it like something else. Of course it's a business. Yeah. And, you know, Mark Stark, if you haven't seen his talk, I believe it's in the Resource Center, he did a talk on how to exit your business and treating your business with the thought of selling it one day, having an exit plan makes you better today. And he's one of the most brilliant minds in the whole network, and he's so big on this. So that's going to be another future topic.
You know, Andrew, and that's why I think the Magna Carta had like several hundred or 1,200 exemplifications. I want to apologize that we only have 33 here, but we could have hundreds if we were just trying to forensically evaluate what a real estate agent has to do to be more successful, because we'd be talking about time management, dress for success, and hundreds of other issues, but we're not. We're limiting this exercise to everything that is required to be a forever agent.
Beautiful. Number 3, real estate agents only focus on how they should do business planning. Have you ever done a business plan? Forever agents appreciate that they cannot be a forever agent without helping their clients plan around their forever needs and wants.
I'm glad this is proclamation number 3, although they're not all in equal order in terms of their importance. This is just the way we're introducing them here. I actually wrote Your Real Estate and Lifestyle Planning Guide, and Wendy Duran, Senior Vice President of Global Marketing and Networking, developed this. And this is a very significant proclamation about planning, because it's like doctors going to medical school and they're only being taught, let's say they're only being taught to do self-MRIs, and it never occurs to them, geez, maybe we should do an MRI on our patients. Over the last 40 or 50 years, the industry, real estate agents, have arrived at the understanding, I should do a business plan, and they should do a business plan. But a major focus has to be, why don't I get the consumer to do planning around real estate and lifestyles? That's what is required to be a forever agent, because it would be like somebody saying to you, Andrew, I'd love to be your financial planner. I just don't do any financial planning. But I'd love to be your financial planner. I'd love to be your financial planner for life, but we won't be doing any planning together. I'd love to be your forever agent, but of course we're not going to be doing any planning together. So this is a very significant thing that can be emailed out, that can be PDF'd, that somebody can bring to an open house, that somebody can physically hand to somebody, because it's basically suggesting to the forever client that I'm not just transactional. I'm not just advertising. When you're ready to buy or sell a home, give me a call. No, I'm relational, but I have a bridge. I have a mechanism. I have a format, a forum that can connect us in a common cause, your future.
It's unbelievable. And you're one of the most brilliant minds in consumerism. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. Alan had that idea, and it's been documented. I was watching a presentation he did in 1987, the year I was born, and he was going over the value of having a planning system. Do you think your clients would like it if you help them plan in detail at a high level their real estate future? That's what makes you a forever agent.
And one other thing, Andrew, one of Christie's other magnificent initiatives, Christie Budnick, our CEO, that is to encourage every forever agent to do annual reviews. And this can be a component of those annual reviews where you're establishing a common vocabulary, a common purpose. There's something to mutually focus upon. And this truly is a game changer.
If you don't print this out from the Resource Center, put your face on it, put your logo on it, and send it to your forever clients, you're missing a big one. It's much better than getting a pumpkin this Halloween, or maybe how to make a pie. Number 4, real estate agents personally and proudly serve communities. That's fair. Been serving Bel Air since 2010. Forever agents don't just serve, but also proudly and personally represent communities. So break that down, the serving versus representing.
A lot of times people look down at the way politicians function, especially today. Political approval is at an all-time low. Right. And yet there's one thing that politicians do that is worthy of emulation by real estate professionals, by forever agents. Everybody that's an adult can serve their communities. You can work as a volunteer for the Red Cross. You can work on the July 4th parade committee. You can work at the soup kitchen. everybody can serve their community, but there's only one professional that can represent their community, especially in accordance with one of the approved definitions in Webster, that being that representation can also mean storytelling, narration. Now, over the last several years, one of the words that, if there's a word cloud for real estate, one of the most cherished words are, you've got to be a storyteller.
Right.
We have to take that concept and become world-class storytellers through the use of videos that represent the interest, because the only way you ever have access to consumers is through their concerns. And there's one concern that every homeowner in every town in the world, city, and neighborhood have in common, and that is they want their home values to ascend. And there's a correlation between the way in which the value of a town, neighborhood, or city, or state is being narrated with their corresponding home values. And so the best way, in my opinion, I may not be right, but I'm convinced, for a real estate agent to become the talk of the town is to do a better job of talking about that town, representing the town versus serving. In fact, I said this to you before, Andrew. You probably know more about your town than you do any home in the town. That's your greatest experiential value. Zillow doesn't have that. Google doesn't have that. No one else in your communities can portray, can narrate the fabric of that community more than a forever agent. Real estate agents are still going to be all about serving. Forever agents have to both serve and represent. An important proclamation.
Yeah, number 4 is important, because if you can wrap your head around representing your town, area, neighborhood, wherever you serve, you're going to build that moat that Mr. Warren Buffett talks about around your business, and you will not be disrupted if you take Forever Agent Proclamation number 4 to heart.
And you know what, Andrew, and getting back to the political dimension, Congress people, even though their approval rating collectively is so dreadfully low, they get reelected over 95% of the time because they're not serving anybody, but they're representing their communities. They don't have a loyalty gap.
Beautiful. Proclamation number 5, real estate agents start off with a business plan. Forever agents start off with significant strategic thinking before they do their business plan. So I'll jump in here,
please,
because this was big when you introduced this to me a couple months ago. And everyone loves, you got to do X plus Y by when, right? That's a big thing, but we're missing the other Y. X plus Y by when? Well, what are the X and what are the Ys? And why are they there? And that starts with the strategic thinking. If you're effective but not efficient, you're not going to go very far. Check that. If you're efficient but not effective, you have to be effective first, and you have to strategically think about how you're going to be effective before you then try to work on your efficiencies. So, Alan, give us your thoughts on strategic thinking before business planning.
So obviously, you know that it is very important in goal setting to have X by Y by when. In fact, no one's a greater proponent than the real estate goat himself, Gino Blafari.
Yeah, he's the best.
Has transcended and transformed every company he's ever led. But you're adding a dimension. You're saying that there's another Y, the WHY.
Right.
And that's where strategic thinking comes in. So before somebody gets to the quantitative aspect of their business plan, they should do the strategic thinking in terms of what's the addressable market? Okay, what's the mobility profile? Meaning, how frequently are people moving? What sections are move-up markets? Where are people downsizing? What content do I require? Because otherwise, somebody would say, that area has a lot of senior citizens, but they don't even have senior lifestyle content. They're really moving up over there, but they don't even have a move-up system. So the strategic thinking is, what's the addressable marketplace? What's the mobility profile analysis? What content is required? What skills are required? And how am I going to distribute that content? Because otherwise, some business plans can just become glorified goal-setting manifestos.
Yeah, and goal setting is important, and obviously we all know that. But I'm going to brag a little bit because I've been so fortunate on our team, our whole team here at Sure Group in Baltimore. has benefited tremendously, far more than any other coaching I've ever done. And trust me, I've done it all. Brian Buffini, Tom Ferry, Greg Proctor. I mean, I'm a student of this stuff. I love it. But the stuff you're helping us develop strategically into our business plan, like the urban to suburban program, like the renter to buyer program, that's stuff that's going to explode our number of transactions. Does a forever agent want to do a lot of transactions? Yes, they do. And that's how you do it with strategy. 6, real estate agents don't create or convey compelling content. Forever agents understand that content carries consequences. You created the word, I'm going to let you say it.
Well,
consequences.
Another synonym for my word consequences would be that information share equals market share. And that's something that is very important to be able to understand and discuss. What are the content needs within the marketplace? I occasionally will bring this up, hopefully never too much, because it has a privacy issue, but several years ago, I donated my kidney to my wife. And that was the first time I was ever brought into the medical environment. I went to doctor's offices. I never spent a minute in a hospital in my life other than breaking an arm, playing sports and whatever. And everywhere I went, they had content. How to lower your blood pressure, diabetes, every single issue, because that's part of how they want to educate and create relationships. And yet, if you were to go into most real estate offices around the world, you're probably not going to see content, how to appeal your property taxes, or how to downsize, how to move up, moving with children, moving with pets. So thanks to Wendy, we have created world-class, consumer-centric, client-centric, and community-centric content. Now, there's a correlation between content and clients for life. Real estate agents in general are never going to be as content-centric as forever agents. And so that's a very important proclamation. So as our revered audience, and the people that will benefit, in my opinion, from what we're talking about the most, are the top agents.
Of course.
You know, my father once said to me years ago, he goes, Alan, do you know how I define a professional? I said, how, Daddy? And my father said, the people who make the most amount of money are the most professional. Now, we can all argue with that, but that was interesting to me. But the people in real estate who are doing the most business, they have the most to gain by making these tweaks, by encouraging these paradigm shifts. And I believe, and we'll talk later about the macro level and the micro level,
right.
I think in order to truly be a forever agent, it requires relevant, consumer-centric content. And our brand is so out front of the industry in terms of content, thanks to Wendy Durand under Christy Budnick's supervision and direction. And so consequences, content, that's an amazing proclamation.
Well, we're only going to stay out in front if us forever agents use this stuff. It sounds good. Everyone's nodding their head probably. Yeah, that's a good idea. But are you going to take action on it? And one of the things I'm willing to share, and I will share because the brand's pouring it into me, I'm going to do the case studies on this stuff. Like when we roll out the urban to suburban things, I serve downtown Baltimore, a lot of people move to the counties. You have to have a program for that. The content is so good and the consequences are going to be me getting big commission checks and our team having a lot of fun. So number 7 coming up, real estate agents focus on individual customer needs. Forever agents appreciate that understanding entire population segments is more important than profiling individuals.
Yeah.
This is the macro versus micro.
Yeah, before coming into real estate sales and marketing, I was in insurance sales and management for several years. And back then, it was all about interpersonal relationships.
Right.
It was all about selling and prospecting. So therefore, back then, we talked about NLP, neuro-linguistic program. We had DISC. I'm sure you've heard of DISC. We've spoken about that in the past. You know, if somebody's a D, if somebody's an I, if somebody's audio, how does it sound to you, Andrew? If somebody's tactile, how does this feel to you? And so forth and so on. And that stuff's great, okay? That's the psychology of sales. But here's the challenge. Homeowners only bring in 75% of the time only one agent. A lot of the psychology of sales would come under the definition of a solution in search of a problem that doesn't exist. The industry doesn't have a major problem in how it sells. A lot of homes also contribute to the sale. So it's not like selling a policy that the next morning, I used to sell insurance policy, the next morning somebody would wake up, what did we do? What hit us?
Right.
That's not real estate. And so we don't have a great challenge with the psychology of sales. All of the challenges coming into the industry are at the macro level. The macro level is dealing with population segments. We've done a great job. In fact, most top agents have always said this to me, Andrew, and you would be one. Alan, my greatest problem isn't converting my listing presentations. I get 75, 85, 90% of every appointment I go after. My challenge is getting more appointments. And that challenge can only be resolved if forever agents are doing more with populations. And we'll talk about that in one of the future proclamations, macro versus micro.
Yeah, and we covered that in episode 1 in a few segments, but it bears repeating because these are the proclamations that are going to be, at least to me, engraved in stone. But again, we'll dispute some, and we're welcoming the challenge. Selling's in our DNA, and we've covered that. We need to go macro. We need more appointments. Number 8, real estate agents are often underprepared. I used to be a big victim of this. Forever agents are proficient at preparation. Look, opportunity does not waste time with those who are unprepared. And as I've become more professional, and hence getting paid more, I am forensic in my preparation, particularly when going on marketing proposals. We prepare everything. We print out all the previous quantitative data that you can find on the previous listing, what they purchased their home for, how they're holding title, what the market's doing. And then I also prepare myself qualitatively. And we're going to go over that in episode 3 when we're going to blow everyone's minds with how to do a marketing proposal the forever agent way. Stick around for that. But preparation is so important, and it is criminally abused by real estate agents. They just kind of wing it and show up because selling is in their DNA, and they're probably good enough to get by. But forever agents are proficient at preparation. You want to add a dimension to that one?
I've been hearing Gino Blafari, the GOAT, the greatest of all time in the real estate industry, for years say, and he quotes others who he heard it from, but he's adopted it, that the key to success is not the will to succeed. Everybody has the will to succeed. It's having the will to prepare. And I know with anybody, sometimes it becomes tiresome and hackneyed when people keep coming out with these sports analogies, but some of them are appropriate. Think of the preparation that athletes must go to before they play that game. Look at these Olympians. They'll take 4 years of preparation for a few minutes on the gymnastic mat in terms of that. So it is all about preparation. You know this because your dad's in the medical field, your mother's in the medical field. The preparation in their careers. That's why many of the top agents, they're always doing role playing. They're not waiting to just to perform. They're always preparing. They're always practicing.
You got to be using checklists. There's a great book called The Checklist Manifesto by Atul Gawande, who's a famous surgeon. I have my own checklist. I don't go on a marketing proposal unless I know I'm so thoroughly prepared because it gives me more confidence. And I'm not leaving there without my sign going in that yard because I'm a professional. This isn't a hobby, fellas. So you got to be prepared. Number 9, real estate agents have caused the loyalty gap. Forever agents are dedicated to closing the real estate loyalty gap. Now, let me just define that in case people don't know what the loyalty gap is. There's a famous survey, it's quite insulting to our industry, that says 88% of consumers would use their real estate agent again, when surveyed. Only 12% do. We're calling that the loyalty gap. They want to use us, but they just don't. And it's an insidious part of this industry that could capitulate a lot of people's businesses if they're not careful. So how do forever agents close it, Alan?
Well, before I give my observation on that, let me also say this. Just because we're offering these 33 proclamations that all emanate out of disputations that all speak to exemplifications, let's also acknowledge that not everybody, or maybe not many people in the global network, have this challenge. Because we, I'm sure, have people that will honor us by participating in this podcast that will say, that's not my problem. I get everybody back. So all of these, this is a buffet. This is a menu. But for those agents that can point to the fact that they're not getting as much repeat business as they would like, they have to ask themselves this question. Is this because past clients are not loyal to the agent, or is it because the agent is not loyal to the client?
That's a key distinction. We haven't even discussed that. And I think it's the other way around. I don't think these real estate agents are loyal enough to their consumers. It's our problem. We created it.
Exactly.
And you know how to solve a problem. You can't solve a problem with the same thinking that created the problem, which is why we have to change the thinking and why we have to have these disputations.
And by the way, Bob Watson and the Forever Agent Coaching is going to go into great detail, because the Forever Agent Coaching is going to be very non-directive, very facilitative. It will reflect the Socratic method of learning, where people will have a thesis, an antithesis, and a synthesis, where they're going to take all of these issues, share not just share best practices, but also next practices, so we can resolve these issues for forever agents, forever.
Last point on that is, you know how to close the loyalty gap and actually be loyal to your forever clients? It's with that lifestyle planning guide, the real estate lifestyle planning guide. So you're upstream and serving your clients when they're not just transacting.
And not only that, and once a forever agent goes through the process and does what Christy Budnick is advocating for, annual reviews, those clients are never going to bring any other agent into the fold. They're not going to look to redundantly achieve the same level of intimacy with anybody else. One doctor, one lawyer, one financial planner, one forever agent.
Beautiful. You know, it's funny. I did an annual review for a forever client of mine, 28-year-old girl, and she said, "Wow, will you do this for my parents?" That's the type of stuff that happens. It's called building an ecosystem.
Now, if you're going to be a forever agent, it's not a 28-year-old girl, it's a 28-year-old woman.
Thank you. Oh my God, my dad corrects me on that all the time. Appreciate that. Getting better every day.
Okay, go ahead.
Number 11, real estate agents are coached on building a database. Forever agents focus on building both a database and a client base. Now, Alan, this is one of your breakthrough thoughts. People have probably heard you say that, but I'll jump in as a present day practitioner here. And this ties in with building a professional practice. Now, we all get leads, and real estate agents want leads, and Zillow will charge you your arm, your leg, and your firstborn for leads. So everyone, that's data. We get over 1,000 leads a month. That's a database, and it works, and we're doing our thing. But it's not the same as building a client base, because I'm not going to do a lifestyle planning guide with 1,000 people, names, numbers, and emails that I got this month, because that would be dumb and impossible. So add a dimension to that, because this is one of your this has led to so many of your programs.
Well, Andrew, first of all, you refer to leads. I prefer the word tariffs. The real estate industry has been seduced by the concept of leads, to pay for leads, because these outside interlopers and people and organizations I refer to, not disrespectfully, but I think accurately, as cyberspace carpetbaggers, they've come into the industry and they've basically intercepted the consumer flow. They're what they call tagging the fish upstream, if you'll forgive that metaphor. And so what they've done is that they've used the word that the industry loves. Who doesn't love the word referrals? Everybody loves referrals. So it's the same thing that hunters do when they go out to shoot their prey. They mimic the sounds, quack, quack, and that's what these companies have done. They understand that many agents have business cards. I love referrals. So they're calling them referrals and leads, but in fact, they're tariffs. Your family's in the medical profession. When's the last time anybody in the medical profession paid out a referral fee to somebody not in the medical profession? Lawyers don't do that. We're about the only industry on the earth that does that. That's why we've got to do real estate planning so we preemptively inoculate ourselves from that, at least on the listing side. We may always have to pay leads and referrals on the buying side because of the global network. But in terms of homeowners, we've got to get away from leads and referrals, and we've got to convert databases to client bases to do that. Because as you've heard me say before, Andrew, I could possess within a few months the largest database here in Baltimore. And I could walk down at the Baltimore Convention Center down there on West Platte Street in St. Charles, and I could walk around as proud as a peacock because I could buy the voter registration rolls for the Republican and Democratic Party. But in a couple months, I might be a feather duster because there's very little value in databases. This isn't just semantics. And a lot of the global network trainings, Forever Agent coaching, will be dedicated to how to literally, not semantics, how to literally convert your database to your client base so someday you can sell what you have built up in a book of business like Mark Stock advocates for. This is a critical, important concept because you can't be a forever agent if you're still working under the paradigm that every coaching and training program is still talking about your database, your database. No, this isn't semantics. Within our training already, we've got about 10 ways to do it, and we're just scratching the surface.
Wouldn't you rather have a client base? Don't you think your forever clients need to be treated a little bit differently than the online lead that came in? And before we close out the first segment, because we're chunking this down to 11, 11, and 11. So this is segment 1 of episode 2. Action item. Google Alan Dalton say no to real estate tariffs. If you want probably one of the most intelligent videos on this topic, you called this 17 years ago exactly what was going to happen with your friend Mike Long, who went on to, founded WebMD, and just brilliant people. Alan knew this was coming, and this is how to get out in front of it. So that's the first 11. Which ones are you going to commit to? Which ones don't you agree with? What should we add? What should we leave out? What was redundant for you? I'm challenging you. Pick 3 of these first 11 and commit to it and lean into the brand for help. We have guys like Alan Dalton, Bob Watson's doing all the training. There's resources there ready for you if you're willing to accept it and take action. Thanks for tuning in to segment 1 of episode 2, and stay tuned for the next 11.